Hi everybody, I'm Allison with Fly My Kids, and today I'm doing a review of one of my very favorite travel items that we use when flying with our kids, the Flyaway bed. Those of you that aren't familiar, the Flyaway bed is an inflatable bed that truly, in my opinion, is just a huge game changer when it comes to taking longer flights with your kids. For us, a little bit of background on how I found out about the Flyaway bed and sort of like came to think that it would be a useful product for our family. When our son was about 1.5 years old, we had a flight to Singapore. It was about 17.5 hours direct. And I was honestly just a little bit panicked. Like, where would our son sleep? We did purchase his own seat for him. Where would he sleep? Would he just be crawling around? I just couldn't picture that tiny person really getting comfy on a seat that's designed for an adult. So thus opened up my eyes and world through my own research to all sorts of different types of inflatable beds. I want to share a couple of things before I get out the product and actually like show it to you and share it with you. So not all airlines technically allow these inflatable beds. So some of them have a blanket statement, yes, we're good with any kind of bed, move forward, blow your bed up, good luck. Others are a little bit more subjective, maybe based on like what flight crew you have that day. What I'll say is we have used our Flyaway bed many times and we've never had an issue. So I just want to put that out there. I'll show you here the Flyaway bed site. For this specific product, it's very helpful. It lists out what airlines it is approved for and which one it may be subjective to like cabin and crew. Now, something else that's important to notice, you cannot blow up this bed until you are up in the air and the seatbelt sign is off. So typically, we sit down with our son, and then once we're up in the air, the seatbelt sign's off, we'll blow up the bed and get my son all comfy. That's another reason I think that like typically a crew doesn't really say anything. Honestly, they barely notice because it's kind of tucked away, which I'll get to in a minute of like where you can actually use them because your seat does matter. But we've only ever had crew just say, hey, that's really cool. Like, that's awesome. We've never had an issue. Another thing to note is where this product can be used. This product, when you think about it, it cannot block anyone from being able to get in and out. So that means that like really it either has to be used at a window seat, or if on like a larger plane for an international flight, you have those like 4 across, you could use those 2 middle seats. The other thing I noticed, obviously, I think that this bed really helped my son sleep better. For reference, it was a 17-hour flight and he slept about 8 hours, which I counted as a huge win, but he still used it for the duration of the flight, and I found it so helpful for a couple reasons. One, oh my goodness, we know kids make big messes when they play and when they eat. So for snacks, instead of like leaving goldfish and crumbs all over the plane floor, it kind of just got caught on the bed, which was nice and easier cleanup for me. You feel like you're not like leaving a big mess for the flight crew, which no one wants to do. And then also with toys, if they dropped or fell, they didn't roll around, the bed caught them, and he could almost have like his whole play area, which I thought was really cool. Let me show you the product. One thing I'll note, it comes in this bag. Now, what I will say is it's compact. I mean, you can see how big it is, but it does take up a decent amount of space in a carry-on. So just something to note that like you may have to forgo something else, but it comes in this little bag and easily folds up. We love a product that actually easily goes back into the bag that it came in. So I'll pull it out here. Here is the bed there with the valve. And then it comes with this and the pump. So it comes with instructions, but it is truly super easy to blow up. Okay guys, that took about 60 seconds to blow up. I honestly could have given it a little bit more air, but really I just wanted to show you what it would look like all set up. So you will see that this part will go in your child's seat all the way up to the back of the seat in front of your kid. We have had people actually like recline, and it still hasn't caused any problems. It smushes it up a little bit, but it still fits fine. And again, the perfect spot for your kid to be able to curl up and get a little bit better sleep. I would also note that like to undo and to deflate, it's really easy. Just go like that and smush it down, and it folds really easy. There's a few different valves, but you just let the air out of all of them. So this is it deflated, and it always, I mean, we've never had any issue just getting it really easily like right back into its bag that it came in. One thing I'll mention is that I was a little bit nervous about the noise of blowing up the item, which you heard a little bit earlier. Just remember that the plane's really loud. Like they're one big white noise machine. So like no one can hear you. I promise it's never attracted any attention other than people like asking me what product we're using and how they get their hands on it. Let's talk about cost. The Flyaway bed comes in at about $159. So definitely a higher end, higher price item. There are tons of other inflatable bed options that you definitely could look into on Amazon and other sites. The Flyaway bed you can only purchase directly from their site, just FYI. But for me personally, when I really started reading reviews and looking into those products, I read a lot of things about them deflating really easily, getting holes, and just really not being durable. And knowing how often we plan to use our Flyaway bed for our travels, I chose the Flyaway bed just because I wanted to ensure that higher quality, and thus far we've really had no issues. All in all, I highly recommend the Flyaway bed if you have an upcoming long haul flight with your toddler or baby. If you enjoyed today's video or found it helpful in any way, please consider liking and subscribing. That way you can stay up to date on any future videos around traveling with kids. Happy travels!